to another edition of Down the Paisley Road West. It's a great honour to be at Falkirk Stadium today with ex-Rangers manager Mr Alex Totten. Welcome, Alec.
Thank you.
Alec, first of all, I want to run through your early years in your career. You were born and grew up in Denny Lonehead, I believe, in Stirlingshire.
That's right, I did. Born in Denny Head, and I played with Scottish schoolboys. And I went to a number of clubs. I went down to Arsenal, I went to Man United, my parents in Birmingham. But I signed with Liverpool, pure and simply because one man called Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley was there, Joe Fagan, and after that was Ken Dalglish, so a great continuity at Liverpool. But it was fantastic. It was a great education, leaving school going from a small village to a big city. So it was tremendous.
So one of the first questions I got asked is, there seems to be a bit of a debate when you grew up, but were you a Bear or were you a Bairn as a kid?
My father was a Rangers man, and he took me to a lot of Rangers games, but I went to the Falkirk games with my friends, my pals. And in fact 1957, when Falkirk won the Scottish Cup, they beat Kilmarnock, I went to all the games. I was only a wee boy, and so obviously I've always had a soft spot for Falkirk, and I've been here for a good number of years, been manager, been a player, manager twice, and a job I'm doing now, business development manager. And they gave us a Lifetime Achievement Award, the only guy in the history to get that. Obviously took him to the Scottish Cup final in 1997, first time for 40 years, so it's been very enjoyable here.
Excellent. So the early players in that generation, what kind of players do you remember that stand out?
A lot of great players. I was quite fortunate because obviously I played with great players and against great players, and I played against Wally Henderson. I'm really friendly with Wally, but he was a tremendous player, and played against wee Wally Johnson, the Rangers, and of course the Celtic as well. Played against the Lisbon Lions in 1967, you know, so it was a great period because I say there was some tremendous talent along that particular time.
So I'm going to mention a few footballing legends. Each one of them was an influence in your career at some point. We'll run through them individually, so I'll start off with Mr Bill Shankly.
Shanks was not only a tremendous manager, but he was witty and funny as well, because Ian St John signed in June 1961, I signed in July, and I'll never forget, Ian says Shanks took him to his beloved Anfield end of the season. There was no grass on the pitch, and Ian says, there's no grass on the pitch. He said, listen son, I've actually come and play in it, no grazing it. So that was typical Shanks, you know what I'm saying. And I grew up with Tommy Smith. Tommy Smith was in the ground staff with me, and he became a Liverpool legend, of course, you know. So, but it was an exciting time at Liverpool because Ian St John signed in June, I signed in July, Big Ronnie signed in August, and that season they got promotion. And not only that, the music scene at Liverpool was great. I used to go and see the Beatles at the Cavern, and there were 4 days in digs. And one night we went home, and one of the boys had the radio, and he said, listen, shh, that's that group we heard, the Beatles. Imagine them being the radio. Well, you can imagine obviously world famous. But it was a tremendous time to be at Liverpool in the 60s, there's no question about that.
So that was Bill Shankly. Another great manager that you played alongside, I believe, and you were very friendly with, is Sir Alex Ferguson.
That's right. I played with Fergie at Dunfermline for a good number of years, and then when I went to Falkirk, he come to Falkirk then, so I played with him about 4 years altogether. And you could always see if Fergie was going to be a manager. He was a sort of shop steward in the dress room, and he knew the game inside out, you know, so I'm not surprised he's done really well, and we still keep in touch. I always got a Christmas card for him and Cathy, and so with a dude in Dunfermline there about a few months ago in Alhambra Theatre, sold out 1200, he had tennis on the stage with him, so there's some great stories going back and forward and that, but he's done remarkably well. I mean, 27 years is fantastic, the one club, Man United.
And how highly would you rate him as a manager?
I think he's been the best, to be honest with you. I really do. I mean, he just turned Man United round about, and obviously he's probably the best without any shadow of a doubt.
And how do you feel that if the position at the time, I believe, in the late 80s, he was offered the Rangers job, do you think he would have done how well do you think he would have fared? Would have took it?
I think he's done very well. Obviously his own mind is very, very determined, as you can see. And I think irrespective where he would have went, I think it'd been a big success. And obviously he was a Rangers man as well. He played with Rangers when I was at Dunfermline. I got transferred to Rangers, and I think he'd done really well there.
Okay, the next 2 managers I'm going to mention really are the start of your Rangers career and the end of your Rangers career. Lead us through how you met Jock Wallace and how you became the Rangers assistant manager, and then tell us about how you feel Jock Wallace was a person and a manager.
I only met Jock for 10 minutes really, because when I was manager at Falkirk, I fancied a big striker called Bruce Cleland, so he said come through and see me. So I met him for only 10 minutes through his office at Motherwell Football Club, and that was all. Then I always remember the 11th of November 1983, it was 8 o'clock on the Friday morning, and my wife says, she answered the phone, she says, "It's for you, I know the voice, Jock Wallace here son, how did I come to Rangers, my assistant, right out of the blue, I'm going to Aberdeen tomorrow, my first game, and I'll phone you Monday." So that obviously was on the Friday. And the Saturday we played Clyde at Falkirk. Craigie Brown was manager of Clyde, and our chairman says, "That's the Motherwell chairman, I want to speak to you," because Jock Wallace had left Motherwell to go to Rangers. So I said, "I'll go and speak to him." I met him at the Coatbridge Hotel on a Monday night, and he said, "We've had so many managers here at Motherwell, between like Jock Wallace, David Hay, Roger Hind, Ali McLeod, Ian St John, want continuity, want to offer you a 5-year contract." So I said, "I'll phone you midweek." I phoned him Wednesday, thanked him most sincerely, turned it down, and I had to beat Rangers for 4 o'clock on the Friday. So you can imagine going there with joy, pride, trepidation, and parked my car park, walked along, and standing at the door and says, "Mr Wallace is waiting at the top of the marble staircase." So goes up there, and you see the big photograph of me, Alan, mounting a wee blue devil, and he says, "Great to see you, Alec, you're now a Ranger." So in there, one meet of directors, Wally Waddle, Ray Simpson, that, you know, so that was on the Friday. And the Saturday, it was the first game against Dundee United. He said, "I want you and me to walk out in that field," and which was it was very enjoyable. But again, it was daunting without a doubt. And obviously in the dressing room before it, I met Ali McCoist and David Cooper, all the players. So it was a tremendous experience. There's no question about that. And that was the first game, and we drew nothing each.
So when you speak of Jock Wallace, you're obviously a lot of fondness on the man and that. And there's various stories about the different persona of Jock.
Aye.
Did you ever feel in awe when you first met Jock?
Without a doubt. I mean, Jock had been there before and won trebles and that, you know, so his record would speak for itself. But it was great for me. I mean, obviously he took me there, and so I always remember one night we were in Switzerland with a good drink. It was pre-season, and I said, "What do you come for me, Gaffer? What do you come for me?" He says, 10 minutes was enough. That 10 minutes when I tried to sign Bruce Cleland, and that's what he said. "I wanted you and I got you," and I was delighted. So I say it was tremendous. And obviously he says, "What I'm going to do, obviously I'm the manager, but eventually I'll step up as general manager, you'll take over as team manager. Like you were at Liverpool with Shanks, Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan, a lot of continuity," and that's what he wanted, but it didn't quite materialise. But I say the time I had at Rangers was absolutely wonderful. It's a time I'll never forget.
Have you any memorable games at that period?
Without a doubt, because when we went there, we went 26 games and one defeat, and that was we played Celtic at Hampden, a League Cup final, and Big Jock says, "Alec, you've never lived at Rangers till you beat Celtic in a cup final," which we did in '84 when Alan McCoy's got a hat-trick, and it was absolutely brilliant. After the game we say, "Here, Alec, there's a medal," so I've got the medal in the house, and we went back to Ibrox, went to Panama Jacks, had to stay at Albion with my wife, you know, it was absolutely fantastic. What a great feeling. And the next year we beat Dundee United 1-0. Ian Ferguson, the striker, got the goal, so two League Cup finals and 2 wins. So it was a great experience, but I say Big Jock was great for me, there's no question about that.
And how do you rate him as a manager?
He was a great manager. He knew the game inside out, and you learned a lot from him, you know, and his discipline was great. You know, obviously a lot of the boys, they all looked up to him, and but he was a great fitness fanatic. We used to go to Glen Sands pre-season, and they called it Murder Hill, it was like that. And used to throw us in the water, and up to the Bissett Hotel and back to Ibrox. So, but it was even after every training session, the two used to be in the gym, throwing medicine balls to each other, and he believed to hear the stomachs, that's where all the power comes from. But he was a great character. He was funny, but he knew the game, and well respected, and I learned a lot from Jock.
And did you ever go up the hill yourself when you talk about Murphy?
No, I was halfway up the hill. Jock was at the top, roaring him on. So but it was a hard session, there's no question about that. But I got the boys really fit. They were always fit Rangers, and it was quite a character.
things that the fans miss nowadays in football is a thing that Joe Wallace installed in the team. He made sure that the supporter was always number one priority. And I believe every weekend or every second week, the different players were sent to different functions for supporters all over the country.
Yeah, that's right, it was. Even when I was there, we used to go to different functions, and I remember one time we were in the middle of Glasgow, and they make a noise and that, and Big Joe, quiet! So everybody was really quiet, and they started singing, streets paved broad and narrow, and Paul. Next thing they're up the tables and everything. It was absolutely brilliant. And even went to away games. Every away game, we get maybe half a mile from sort of Pataudry or Dens Park, and he shouted to Sam the driver, right Sam, put it on now, and he'd open his window at the driver's side, and all he heard was, follow, follow. So he got the boys going, and but as he said, if you cut him, it'd be blue blood, you know, he was a Rangers man through and through, and so he was quite a character.
And Ian Ferguson once told me that they were going on a surprise tour, and when they got to the venue, they turned out they were in Iraq. Is that true?
That's right. We went a few places. I mean, obviously Iraq and Jordan, and but we signed Ian and Cammy Fraser before we went on a world tour. So when we beat Celtic 3-2 on a world tour to Australia, New Zealand, America, and Canada, and that was a great experience. I mean, you meet Rangers fans all over the world, but it was quite a trip because Big Peter McCloy broke a few fingers. Bobby Russell had to go also because of his eye. Big Colin McAdam broke his leg. Bobby Williamson broke his leg, so it was there was a few things happening on the trip. It was maybe a bad experience, but to go around the world with Rangers, and no matter where you go in the world, the Rangers supporters all over, so it was quite a trip.
I actually thought you were going to say Colin McAdam had broke his face.
You better not tell him that.
But you're mentioning some great Rangers players there from a good era. My boyhood era growing up. Alan McCoist, Davy Cooper. Can you give me your opinion on them as young boys?
Coist was a great personality, still is a great personality, and obviously he's great in the dressing room and that. But I'll never forget the Dundee game. We went to Dens Park and we drew 2 each. We should have beat them up there, no problem. But back at Ibrox, John Brown got on the goal, got beat 1-0. But all the chances felt like Ali that day. And of course the Rangers fans started singing, Ali, Ali, get to you know where. And they came in after the game and tears coming down here, you know. And I said to him, you know, you'll win them round, which he did. It was... He did, but he was a great player, Coisty, tremendous, and I wish him all the best in management without a doubt. I'm still very friendly with him. But David Cooper was something special because when I left Falkirk to go to Rangers, Big Jocks, the first training session, you take training, Alec, and I took it, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing with David Cooper and like Robert Pritz, Jimmy Nicholl, Joe McClellan, international players. But David Cooper, you thought the ball was struck to his left peg. It was absolutely brilliant. Just a tremendous player, you know. Wonderful player, and it was great to be involved with someone like that. I mean, people say to me, who's the best player he played with? The best player I played with, and it was Alan Golzine at Dundee. He was a great player, both in the ground and there. We went to Tottenham for 72,500. The best player, I wouldn't say a coach, but obviously they were David Cooper, and the best player I ever signed was Kevin McAllister for Falkirk. So I was 22 years in management, but I mean, that's the sort of 3 players that sort of stood out for me, you know.
So that was your Rangers time, and that season was quite memorable for you. And as you mentioned, that season Rangers had signed Ian Ferguson and Cammy Fraser.
That's right.
Do you feel at the time they should have brought on a few other players, and did you try and buy other players?
Well, Jock did. In all honesty, I mean, obviously when we got the sack when Graham Souness come, but Big Jock spent £600,000 in 3 years. Graham spent 16 million, and that's a big difference. If Jock had that money, you know, we could have probably got a lot of, you know, better quality players, sort of thing. And I remember we signed the lad Bell from like Aberdeen, and he was a good player. 120,000 paid for him, and he's made his debut at Easter Road. And I always mind John Payne said to Jock, any more like him, he says we'll sign him. So he was one good signing, but we could have done way more. No question about that. So, because when I was there, all the boys were on the same basic. They were 15 grand a year, £300 a week. And when Graham come, his first 2 signing was like say Butch and Woods, England goalkeeper, England captain. And it just, because I remember Big Terry telling me, I had no intention to come to Rangers. I was going to go to Tottenham from Ipswich. And Graham said, well, can I meet you? Met him in London. He said, well, if I'm going to come to Rangers, I want this, that, this, and that. I said, okay. So money, just, it was no object at that particular time.
And a lot of fans are sympathetic towards Jock Wallace at the time. When you look on, basically he was sacked for Rangers, and then Graham Souness came in. As you mentioned, the money was involved. How do you feel Jock would have done if he'd get that money?
I think I've done well, because obviously a lot of contacts. I've been at like in England with Leicester, knew a lot of people, and but at the end of the day, that could be a good manager, a bad manager, but it's all about quality on the park, you know. And obviously Graham brought quality on the park, there's no question about that. But Jock could have did that, and the Rangers fan would have loved it, because that's what they're after. I mean, Rangers deserve to be, like say, at the very top. They're a great club, but it's all about quality players at the end of the day.
So that brings me on to the Souness era. Obviously, the Souness era means the end of the Wallace Totten era. Unfortunately for yourself, how did that come about? How did Rangers approach you on that, and did you meet Souness during that time?
Well, what happened was Big Jock got the sack on the Monday, and I said before, Jock was tutoring me for his job. He says, Alec, I'm going to bring Souness. So the next morning I was down the stairs in the boot room, and David Holmes phoned me. He said, Alec, could you come up and meet Graham Souness? So I met him in the blue room, and he'll say, Alec, you'll be down just now, could you introduce all the players? So down you come, and right, all the players, Peter McCloy, David Cooper, Robert Pritz, the whole lot, you know. So after that, he went away to Sampdoria for a week, and I looked after things. And the following Monday, Campbell Ogley says, I'd like you to come round to see David Holmes. There was myself and Stan Anderson, John Haggett, the reserve team coach, and that was us. We were away then. But we went back round to Ibrox, and I left a note on Watty's desk, wishing him all the best, Watty Smith. And because I've been a Hollywater, you know, and his kids are the same as mine, and I knocked on Souness's door, and I said, I wish you all the very best, you know. So because I didn't know Graham Souness for Adam, to be honest with you, I never met him before. And that's what a manager does, he brings his own men, and it's always the same. But I say he did exceptionally well, there's no question about that. He really did. But I remember when I was at Rangers, when I was there, when I went initially, Big Jock says, Alec, who's the player you liked in that? And one was Bobby Williamson. So he sent Wally Thornton to have a look at him and paid 100,000 for Bobby. So I got Bobby to Rangers. And when I was manager of Alloa, the player that stood for me was a boy called Stuart Monroe. And Big Joe said, come on, we'll go and have a look at him. So I went to see Hamilton versus Alloa at the old Douglas Park. It was Wally Thornton, Big Joe and me, and Stuart was the best man in the park. It was 2 each. He said, going down off of your former chairman 15 grand. And Stuart went to Rangers. He was there for 6 years, 15,000. So he was a good sign. So that was a couple of players that I recommended, you know. So, but see, some of the experiences, I mean, we played the Inter Milan, for example. So when I went across Inter Milan, Big Jock, Jerry McNee and me. So before the game, Jerry's interviewing Beckenbauer, the German manager. After the game, it was Liam Brady, a player with Inter Milan. And went to Streicher, and in Milan there was the agent, Big Jock, Jerry and me. And the agent said, you come with me, Jerry. Round the corner is Karl Rummenigge. So he said, I've got 3 stars, if you like, you know, in one day. It's a month's work. So that was it. We came back, and he sent me across again, Jock, to have a look at Inter Milan and against Torino and that. So it was, but I say, every week was a big week at Rangers. It was just special, the training, you know, being at Ibrox. It's a special club. So it was a fantastic experience.
And just a quick one on that, you mentioned the Milan game. They obviously beat us 3-0. What I said, they beat us 3-0 in Milan in the San Siro. And they came back to Ibrox, and was it 3-1? 3-1,
I used to go to Turnberry Hotel before all the sort of Scottish Cup ties and European ties. We do our training, and Big Joe and me were in the Nails, of course, playing golf and that. The players couldn't play because they're playing the next night either a Scottish Cup tie or a European tie. But it was a great build up to it, and we scored early. Ian Ferris got a goal early. We beat them 3-1. And
how did we not beat them and knock them out that night? A great performance.
It was a great performance. You know, it was a tremendous performance. The European nights were a bit special at Rangers. There's no doubt about the atmosphere.
E concludiamo il breve panorama italiano con le immagini della partita dell'Inter impegnata in Coppa UEFA. La squadra nerazzurra, dopo aver perso il derby, è stata sconfitta anche in Scozia contro il Glasgow Rangers, ma almeno stavolta resta la grande consolazione di aver superato il turno. Forte del 3-0 dell'andata, l'Inter si è dovuta arrendere di fronte ad una squadra che ha fatto del dinamismo la sua arma in più. Il gol di Altobelli, che ha pareggiato quello firmato da Mitchell, ha permesso ai nerazzurri di giocare senza eccessivi affanni. La doppietta di Ferguson ha poi soltanto intaccato il prestigio dell'Inter, che ricorderà con antipatia la serata scozzese. Intanto domani a Zurigo verrà effettuato il sorteggio relativo al terzo turno della Coppa UEFA. Le partite si giocheranno il 28 novembre e il 12 dicembre, mentre la Coppa dei Campioni e la Coppa delle Coppe, giunte già ai quarti di finale, riprenderanno a marzo.
Even leading up to the sort of the playing Celtic as well, we beat Dundee United and Sandy Clark, a goal in Redford and that place. I mean, the noise, unbelievable, you know. So, but the Celtic Rangers games were special. You know, I mean, I'm a great believer in the communication on the park, but you couldn't hear yourself speaking. The noise is just unbelievable. And one game in particular ended up 4 each. I don't know if you remember that big David Simons referee. We're up 4-3, and Murdo McLeod a 25-yarder right past Nicky Walker 4 each, but pouring the rain, but it was absolutely fantastic. The games, you know, they were special.
But when you mention that, just something that you often wonder as a fan. The fans are giving it each other, giving it large. Usually the management, right? But like, never mind the players in the park. What's the banter like with the management? The Rangers management, the Celtic management, 4 each bearing in mind the goals are going in each way. Are you winding each other up? And
at times we do that, you know, but I've got to be fair and honest. I mean, after every game, whether it was at Parkhead or Ibrox, they come in for like David Hay, come in for like say, a beer or a cup of tea or whatever, you know. So we're always friendly enough. There's no doubt about that. But I say the atmosphere in the Old Firm games is just that cup final I talked about earlier. We beat them 3-2. It was just to walk to the Rangers end after, you know, winning and beating Celtic. I mean, what a feeling that was. It was absolutely tremendous.
before we move on, there's a famous incident in Scottish football happened when you were the manager of St Johnstone, and Graham Souness took on his biggest challenge of all, the St Johnstone tea lady Aggie Moffat.
Aye.
Is that right?
It was Aggie Moffat, that's right.
What was the real story behind Aggie?
Well, we moved to a new stadium and everything was brand new, and she used to have a big flask of tea in the dressing rooms, both home and away. And we drew one each that night, and Graham got the flask and hit it right against the wall, smashed his smithereens, and what a mess, you know. So big Aggie right away up to see the chairman, but she met Graham Souness in the foyer, so the two of them were going hell for leather, you know, and of course Souness said, you would never work for me, and I don't want to work for you. And the thing is, there were about 30, 40 people there, so everybody was witnesses, you know, carry on. So, I mean, nobody forgets Big Aggie because of that. Should have got Souness, but he'd have got her as well. So I could say it maybe friendly banter. I think it was more than that really. So, but it was something like that. There's no doubt about that.
And you never thought to jump in the middle of them and break it up?
No, I'll let them go ham and dong. On you go, you know. So, but I always remember we played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge for the Bradford disaster. And the game was only gone about maybe say 15 minutes, and John Hollins was the Chelsea manager. He went, "Oi!" He says, "Who's your number 10? I said, "A lad called Ian Durant." He says, "What a player!" And that's after only about 10-15 minutes. And me Durant was a special player. I mean, I loved him. He was in the ground staff, and he had a big dinner in Glasgow. His testimonial, there were about 1,000 people. He said, "I want you at the top table, sitting with John Gregg, Andy Cameron, Dougie Donnelly." You can't buy that really. Fantastic, you know. And if he would have free of that injury, you know, he'd been probably one of the best players ever. He had everything, you know, he was just from box to box, he was just a fantastic player, and I've always had a great respect for him, there's no doubt about that.
I mean, you mentioned the name there, the one and only John Gregg. How was your relationship with him, bearing in mind that you guys came in after him as a manager?
Well, John used to come to the games after that, you know, so I've always known Big Peter McClure. I was really friendly with Big Peter. Used to go to his house in Girvan, the wife and me didn't see him and Anne, and he says when Greggy left, as if not a brick but a boulder was removed from his shoulder, because obviously a lot of pressure at Rangers, you know, and it's all about results. You've got the results every single game. And because remember Big Jock took Noel one time, and I was looked after the team against Morton. We drew 3 each down there, we beat them in the replay, but some great occasions. Even like say, I remember Big Jock said one time we're playing Bohemians. He said, "You got across and look at them, Alec." So I flew from Glasgow to Dublin in the hotel, and I came out. And this lad was standing. I said, "Excuse me, how do you get to Bohemians ground?" He said, "My brother texts me." So, next guy. So, but I mean, that night especially, it was Nicky Walker was in goals, and there'd been darts thrown at him, there were golf balls, and it was just, it was very, very uncomfortable. Because I mean, Big Jock says, when we go back to the airport, he says, get the heads down right to the airport, you know. So, I know a lot of the fans were going back to Belfast, and they were stoned, the buses were stoned, and the flyovers and that, you know. So, but the only time I've been at Northern Ireland is when we played Linfield, and I'll never forget it. We went to play Linfield, and we arrived at the airport in Belfast. Armour car in front of the bus, Armour car behind. Went to Linfield, we played the game, beat them 3-0, had a shower, in the bus again, Armour car in front of the bus, Armour car behind, and back to Glasgow. It's the only time I've been in Northern Ireland and Belfast, you know, but that was quite an experience.
So the next football man I'm going to ask you about is Mr. Walter Smith. Your relationship with him, how you go on with him nowadays, and that famous game where the two of you were hammer and tong, what actually happened?
I've always gone great with Walter. I said earlier we were on holiday together in Ibiza, and I said before I left a note when I left Rangers, wishing them all the very best, and I've always had the highest regard for them, the greatest of respect. And I always remember as manager at Kilmarnock, we played Rangers and we had a cup of tea after the game. He says, Alex, see when you win, it's no enjoyment, it's sheer relief. And I think there's a lot of truth in that, being a manager myself for 22 years. That night at Perth, we had not a set two, with a wee argument and up the tunnel and all the rest of it. Nothing really happened. But this commissioner was there, no football man, you know, and obviously the two of us were to leave the ground. So I went to this director's house. We're up there till 6 o'clock, and we said we'll come back. Everybody were away, back we come, and the cameras were there, you know, the photographers and everything, you know. So it was blown up to all proportions as far as I'm concerned. And what he ended up in court in Perth, and Donald Finlay was representing him. The twos are sitting in Perth passing polo mints, you know. So I said we've always been great friends, and we always will be great friends. And since that incident, I think McCoist was making fun of it as well in the dressing room, you know, Evander Holyfield Totten against Cassius Clay Smith and all that sort of thing, you know. So in fact, we played Dundee United the following week up at Tannadice, and I'm in the dressing room at Tannadice, and the door bangs, and I hear it's Jim McLean with a pair of boxing gloves. So I mean, Jim was always serious, but that day it was. But we beat him 2-1, so I was quite chuffed, but at the end of the day it was quite funny. But I say, what he's done a great job, not only for Rangers but for Scottish football as well, and he's very well respected and rightly so.
So the last football character I've got here, I'm not 100% sure of the question, I'm going to ask you anyway. Your memories of Ted McMahon and his order of food on his first day at Ibrox?
Ted came to Rangers, paid £100,000 for him, and by dancing his pants, he's always up there everywhere. And so he's talking about, like, say, you know, the pre-match meal. So I said, oh, just have what you want, son. You get soup and you get steak and you get sweets and everything after, ice cream or whatever, like, and that's what we ordered. And Big Joe come, and Big Joe went berserk. He said, what? Play a game, that, you know? So he was looking at me and he was giving me the eye because obviously I kind of set him up, you know. But Ed he was a great player. I mean, his first training session at the old training ground, and his beat the reserves 5-0, but it was tremendous, you know. He was, and I remember a Celtic game as well. We beat them 3-0, Ibrox, and I think it was William McStay got sent off. Ted was brilliant that day, you know. He was a real character, I know about that, and just a special player and a good man to have on your side. But it was funny as well. Ted, he wasn't half. He was quite a character.
So your all-time career at Rangers, who was your favourite player to watch? And
my favourite player in doubt was David Cooper. I love Coop, you know, I go in well with Coop. See, the thing is, when I was a manager, you're a wee bit sort of distance away from the players, but if you're a coach, you're closer to the players. So, like, so we went to away games, whatever, used to go up the bus, sit beside players and talk to them and everything, and that. Manager's different. The manager sits in front of the bus. But I say, David Coop was special. I always loved great players. When I keep saying to players all the time, when I was a manager, go and express yourself, go and enjoy it. You enjoy it, I enjoy it, the fans enjoy it, and I've always believed in attacking football. And Coop was that special player. He was a tremendous player, absolutely brilliant. And I remember when we beat Celtic that time, we beat them 3-2. I said, Erling Ali McCoist got a hat-trick. He gave me his shirt and he signed it for my son, you know, to Bruce. Best wishes, David Cooper, and he's got it on his wall yet. That strip, you know. So he was a great player. I no doubt about that.
how do you feel when you look back now? You were always an assistant manager at Rangers, you're now at Falkirk, you're still in top level football. How do you feel about the last 2 years with Rangers Football Club, how they've been treated in the position they now find themselves in?
I think it's really very, very sad, there's no question about that, you know, because obviously, you know, they should be in the top flight of Scottish football, they deserve to be there, and I feel really sorry for the fans, because the fans have always been very, very loyal, you know, good fans, and they're all for the club. But what's happened now, I think it's so sad, really. There's no question about that, you know, and so the quicker they're back there, the better, for everybody's sake. You know, I mean, Celtic need Rangers, I'm not caring what they say at all. Celtic need Rangers like Hearts need Hibs, and we need Dunfermline. You've got to have your rivals. And I say, without Rangers in the top flight, there's no question about it, it's not the same league. So hopefully we're back there sooner rather than later.
It's widely thought with the Rangers support, it's a view probably only shared with the Rangers support, that Peter Lawwell has a stranglehold over Scottish football nowadays and that the SFA are in his pocket. Do you feel that the Rangers fans have any can justify that belief?
I can't really answer that question. I don't know really what happens, like say meetings with the SPL chairman or managers, whatever, like. So it's a question I can't really answer, to be honest with you. But I'll never forget, Big Jock, when I was manager of Kilmarnock, Big Jock came down and says, he came in the dressing room, met all the players and they loved it really, and the boys loved to meet him, it was tremendous. And he says, Tots, he says, can I come down on Tuesday and take training? I said, that'd be great, Gaffer, you come down, the boys would love it, you know. So on the Monday, he phoned me, he says, Tots, I can't come, I'm actually Gleneagles playing golf, I can't come tomorrow. You know, I think the sun shines out your arse, eh? Always when he said that, I said, I know, Gaffer, and that's the last time I spoke to him, to be honest with you. You know, and I say I've a lot to thank him for. It was a dream come true, because my dad, I said before, was a Rangers fan, and that Friday when he phoned, I went across and I told my dad, I mean, he couldn't be happier for me to go to Rangers. I mean, I say he was a right Rangers man, he was absolutely delighted.
Right, I've got a couple of quick ones to run by you into you, right? A couple of funny ones. You probably understand this, I've no idea why, but what's the best chippy in Falkirk and why?
The best chipping folk. The best chipping folk.
I think you've done a competition.
Probably Lamettis, I would think.
Did you do a competition or something a few years ago?
I prefer Lamettis, though, you know.
Is that how you're famous in Falkirk for their chips? I don't know if this is a myth or no, but it was asked twice that when you were the manager of Kilmarnock, after a great game and a great performance for Kilmarnock, you once walked in and asked how the Rangers score was.
I did once say, I got pelted for that right enough, you know, so I always look for the Rangers score. I said before, obviously I have a real soft spot, you know, and I've happy memories at Ibrox. It was absolutely brilliant. And I remember one time we were playing Hibs at Easter Road. It was about 2 days before Christmas, and all the Rangers fans had all like the Santa Claus outfits on, and we're in the dugout engrossed in the game, and two policemen come down, and this boy was right in the middle of them, dressed as Santa Claus, and I heard them saying they're passing the dugout, for the last time, what's your name? And the boy says, you must be joking, dressed as Santa Claus, you know. So and I remember we were in Switzerland one time, we were going to play Sion, and I love things being picturesque and scenery and all the rest of it, and you look up and you see the snow-capped Alps, and me, Bobby Russell, they're playing cards. So I said to Bobby, look at that, it's all you see one hill, you see them all. I never looked up. A good bunch of boys at Rangers at that particular time. It was a special time in my life, and it's a time I'll never forget. And I say I'm grateful for Big Jock taking me there, because it was to go to Rangers, and I said before he was shooting me for a job. It didn't materialise, but at the end of the day, the time I had there was absolutely fantastic.
So Rangers are obviously still dear in your heart, and it was a great period in your career as a manager, assistant manager. And you chose Rangers for your testimonial at Falkirk. So the first question is, who got the date wrong? You picked the 21st of July.
No, I'm the 12th of July.
Now tell us about your
again, I went back to Walter Smith again, and phoned Walter, said, would you come and play my testimonial? No problem whatsoever. And he brought his first team, he wasn't a reserve, he brought his first team. And but that particular time I was ill.
Was it just before that you took Noel?
Sorry?
Was it just, I think it was 2 weeks before that you took Noel?
Well, it was a long time before that. It was about 5 weeks really. I was in hospital for a month really, and had septicemia and a life support machine, and maybe lucky to be here. But Watty was good enough to come. But that day, the surgeon said I wouldn't go because I was completely drained. But I'm saying I've got to go, and I brought my wife 2:30, and they kicked off at 3 o'clock, and I was at the door by 10 past. I had to go home because I was absolutely shattered. And Andy Cameron, who I'm really friend with Andy as well. Andy was at my table, and Andy Gorham, and you know, the lads, and that was great. So I've always got to thank Walter for that. And even had a testimonial golf day as well. So Andy Gorham was there, Big David Provan was there, you know, Big Derek Johnson come, because Big Bar was at Rangers when I was there, and Big Ronnie has come up for Liverpool. So my testimonial dinner at the Shire, Andy Cameron spoke that night, which was great. And when I was ill in the hospital in Stirling, Andy come with a guy called Andy Bain, who's a great a character and a great Rangers man. I think he's missed about 2 games since I don't know how long. And to be fair, there are not many people going to the hospital to see me, but they got in. And Andy Bain and Andy must have given all the patter, you know. But they come to see me, which is something I'll never forget either, you know, and appreciate.
So that game was a full house. So the Rangers end that day, I was actually there. It was a great support for Rangers and the Falkirk support. They obviously appreciated you. I would assume that you've still got a great relationship with the Rangers support.
Without a doubt, okay, it was great, you know, because I remember Andy Gorham said, come on down here, like, we're going in the tunnel. I said, I can't, and they had a walking stick and everything, and I couldn't really move, and but I just walked out there, and in fact, somebody said, you look something like Belson, you know, lost about 2 stone, that was great, and a big crowd that day, and I said it was great them coming, I really appreciate it, and just a pity I couldn't stay for the whole game and even go down in the field and thank them personally, but because after the game, my wife and my son, they remained to give the gifts to the Rangers people, Watty and the players, and Cloyster and the Falkirk players and that, so, but it was good of them coming, and it was, having been there, and it was tremendous, you know, it was great.
So how do you feel when you look on to Scottish football now? How do you feel the current state of the game, and do you think it's what's your opinion on how it should be improved?
I think it's sad, really, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, you look at the quality now. I don't think the quality is there as it was before. I played, I say, with great players. I played against great players, and I've always said for years and years, it should be a bigger league. You say the fans, 95% fans want a bigger league. You know, but you know, the usual 12. I mean, when Rangers won the Cup Winners' Cup, there were 18 teams in the league then. It didn't hinder Rangers. They went on to win the Cup Winners' Cup, and I think that's how it should be. You know, because you play each other 4 times, it could be more than League Cup and Scottish Cup, you know, and play each other too many times. You know, it used to be great, even when I was at Falkirk, at Brockville, like I say, Rangers coming once a season, Celtic come once a season, you know, I'd look forward to it. But playing each other 4 times and maybe even more, it's, I think it should be at least 16, maybe 18 teams in the league. That's my personal opinion.
And the future for Rangers, Ali McCoy's currently the manager. What would you say to Ali regarding the next season for him?
Well, they've won the league. I mean, that was the objective to start. They won the league and they've won it handsomely, you know. So, but Ali knows he's got to get better quality players. I mean, you think of the players that are left, and you know, and they went elsewhere, and he's left with young boys. So, if Ali gets, like, say, the money he's looking for to better the side, I think he'll do really well. I mean, he's a Rangers man through and through. He's always been that way. And but remember that World Tour, we went to Canada. Big Jock says, right, tots there, the Canadian dollars, get the boys pissed, as Big Jock says, you know. So I went into a shop and I got, like, say, t-shirts, and everything that happened in that trip, you know, like, say, it was on their shirts and that, and it was quite a laugh. And Nicky Walker said, tots, that was brilliant. And always mind Diddle been there, the usual Diddle, and he's got his eyes, his glasses down there, killing himself laughing, you know. So it was really, really good. And I gave Big Jock a photograph, there was like Pop in the photo, and there's his jersey and that. So. Cloyster always put the captain's armband, like his shirt and that, but he'd never become captain. Like, so we'd laugh about that, and we Bobby Russell and that. So that was a special tour, I said before. But I just hope Rangers go from strength to strength, really, because you know Scottish football need Rangers. There's no question about it. I'm not caring what anybody says, you know. So they need to be in the top flight, and that's what it should be. And I think they'll go there pretty soon.
And lastly, you done me a big favour a fortnight ago when you turned up at Rangers legend Bobby Brown's 90th birthday, the dinner that I done at Ibrox Stadium. How did it feel going back up the marble stairs once again and into the famous corridors? It
was great, because I'll tell you, I walked up the marble stairs to the big Tam Forsyth, and I said that. I remember the very first night I come here, walking this marble staircase, it was wonderful. And Big Tam said, I agree with you, like, you know, it was great. And I looked at that manager's office, and I know how many times I was in there with Big Jock in the Blue Room, and it's just a special place, Ibrox, there's no doubt about that. But it's great having been there, you know, I've experienced it, I've been there, I've done it. It's not a case of, oh well, it's nice to go there. I've been there, and it was great, and it was great seeing Bobby Brown, and we Johnny Hubbard, Davy Wilson, boys that I know really well, and Gordon Smith. So, and it was great for Bobby, 90 years of age, he was looking great, and I mean, you done him proud, Simon, without a doubt. And I mean, he's 90. He looks like a blooming 30-year-old. He's sharp as a tack, and his stories. And I had him here at Falkirk as my guest last year, and he's on the mic. He's running all the lounges, talking to everybody. And I mean, wonderful. It was great to see him, because his sister lives where I stay in Denny, so he came through once a week to see her. So it was a great night. That he did really well. He done him proud that night, and I know he thoroughly enjoyed it.
So the last question I've got, you've had a massive football career, starting off as a young boy at Liverpool. You've been at Falkirk, you've been at St Johnstone, Alloa, you were the assistant manager at Rangers, you've seen some great players all around the world. Why did you not sign a man called Billy Lynn?
Do you know Billy Lynn? You seen the size of him? He's a whole back four. You seen the Oh no Billy Lynn, no. I'm saying when they're a bad player, but no Billy Lynn, no.
It's been an honour to be here today. Just thanks again, Mr. Alex Totten.